What if you could build a piece of software just by describing what you want it to do? That's not science fiction anymore. That's the incredible promise of Google Opal, a new tool that could completely change who gets to be a creator in the digital world.
No, really, think about it for a second. Have you ever had one of those brilliant ideas for a small tool, something to make your life easier, but the very thought of coding just stopped you cold? And that's been the problem forever, right? There's always been this huge wall of complex code standing between a great concept and an actual working application. But what if that wall is finally starting to crumble?
All right, so let's dive in and meet the tool that's taking a sledgehammer to that wall, Google Opal.
Okay, here's the key thing to get. Opal is a no-code builder. You don't write syntax or debug semicolons. You just write sentences in plain English describing what you want your app to do. It's basically a bridge between your ideas and a real tool you can use. And this isn't some far-off future tech. It's happening right now. It kicked off with an initial launch in the US, and a massive global expansion is slated for later in 2025. And just look at where it's headed. We're talking major tech hubs all across the globe. This just shows how serious Google is about getting this powerful tool into the hands of as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. So, the big question, how does this all actually work? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like building with digital Lego bricks, but instead of you snapping them together, you're just telling an AI assistant what you want to build, and it does the work for you. It's actually really simple. No matter what kind of app you're making, it all boils down to this basic 3-step flow. You give it an input, the AI does its thing to generate something, and then you get your final output. That's it. So let's break that down. The input node, that's just your starting point. What info are you feeding the app? Then you have the generate node, which is where the real magic happens. That's Gemini AI doing all the heavy lifting. And finally, the output node is your result. You just visually connect these blocks to create the logic. Now this is where Opal gets its real superpower. It's not some standalone toy. It's deeply woven right into the Google ecosystem. It uses Gemini as its brain, but it can also talk directly to your Gmail, pull data from your docs and sheets, and organize your drive. It can even handle if this, then that logic, all without you touching a single line of code. Okay, so that's the what. Now for the fun part. How do you actually make this thing work for you? How can you become a power user right from day one? All right, pro tip number 1, and this is a big one. Be specific and break down your requests. Don't just throw a giant, messy idea at it and hope for the best. You got to think in steps. So for instance, instead of just saying, make me a report, which is kind of vague, you guide the AI. Tell it, first, go get this data. Then analyze it for these key trends. And finally, format that output into a clean table. See? This modular approach gives you way more accurate results. It's like giving better directions. And here's maybe my favorite tip, because it's a huge shortcut. You don't have to start from a blank page. Opal has this whole gallery of apps that other people have already built. Just find one that's kind of close to what you need and hit remix. Seriously, remixing is a total game changer. It's the fastest way to learn because you can basically peek under the hood and see how other people built their workflows. You can see their logic, tweak it for what you need, and get a custom app running in minutes, not hours. Okay, but what happens when things go wrong? Because let's be real, they will. Well, Opal's got your back. The debugging tool is awesome. It lets you run your app one step at a time to find exactly where the error is. And for speed, you can turn on parallel execution so the AI works on multiple things at once, which really cuts down your wait time. So what kind of stuff can you actually build here? Oh man, the possibilities are pretty much endless. Think about automating all those boring tasks, like tagging files in your Google Drive. Or you could build a smart content planner for your marketing, or even prototype a quick chatbot. Basically, any small, repetitive digital task is a perfect job for an Opal app. All right, building mini apps with your voice is cool, for sure, but let's zoom out for a second. What does this all really mean? What are the bigger implications here? What we're looking at is the beginning of something called a natural language development environment. It sounds pretty technical, but the idea is actually simple. It's a huge shift from a world where we had to learn the machine's language, code, to a new world where the machine is finally learning to speak ours. And that brings us to the most important question of all, the one I really want to leave you with. When the biggest barrier to creating something new is no longer your technical skill, but just the clarity and creativity of your idea, the whole game changes. If anyone can build an app, what will you create?